Welcome to the Distinguished Physical Education Podcast. This is Gary Zaharatos. The audiobook version of Becoming a Distinguished Physical Education Teacher is now available on Audible. Thanks to those who requested that I prioritize that project. Also, thank you to those of you who have purchased the book and taken time to leave a review on Amazon, and to those who have reached out via email or social media to share such kind words about how they plan to implement strategies from the text. It's also been fun to hear about the book clubs that are popping up. If you're interested in starting a book club of your own with your teammates, district, or university students, and would like some guidance or facilitation of it, feel free to email me at gary@distinguishedpe.com. In celebration of a new school year, today I am releasing Chapter 2 of my book titled High Expectations for Student Behavior. In it, you'll find strategies that will help you establish class rules, how to clearly communicate high expectations for student behavior during transitions like entering and exiting the gym and getting equipment, a leveled approach to class resets for when student behavior is detracting from instruction and activity time, and other topics. Thank you so much for all of your support with this project. I hope you enjoyed Chapter 2, High Expectations for Student Behavior. Chapter 2, High Expectations for Student Behavior. In a distinguished learning environment, off-task student behavior rarely detracts from instructional or activity time. Transitions unfold with precision and efficiency, and students gradually evolve into self-managers of their own behavior who collectively uphold class expectations. To achieve this goal, teachers must intentionally plan for how they will clearly communicate expectations and provide students with opportunities to practice following them. Failure to implement these measures is likely to result in disruptive behavior and inefficient transitions, compromising valuable instructional and activity time. In this chapter, we'll explore several critical topics, including the establishment of class rules, the clear communication of behavior expectations and transition procedures, the development of effective entry routines, and the process for implementing class resets. The strategies detailed here are designed to create an environment where disruptive behavior is minimalized and instructional time is maximized. Class rules. To establish clear expectations for student behavior, it's important to create a straightforward set of class rules. Successful teachers often devise straightforward yet comprehensive rules, allowing any disruptive behavior to be traced back to these guidelines. Here are 3 simple rules commonly utilized by physical education teachers. 1. Respect yourself. 2. Respect each other. 3. Respect our environment. Teaching these rules to students requires creatively and consistently embedding them into the class culture from the very beginning of the year. Teachers should initiate this process with a class discussion about the meaning of respect within the context of physical education class. During this discussion, buy-in can be secured from students by encouraging them to describe what it looks, sounds, and feels like to respect themselves, each other, and their environment. Conducting this discussion collectively ensures a clear definition of the rules and agreement on specific examples of desired behavior. Teachers should be sure to illustrate scenarios where these rules apply, emphasizing situations commonly encountered in the gym. Next, teachers should provide opportunities for students to participate in activities that exemplify each rule. When focusing on respect yourself, choose activities that promote self-discipline, self-care, and personal responsibility, and encourage students to respect themselves by establishing boundaries for personal space. Opportunities should also be created for students to enhance their self-confidence. For instance, teachers can invite students to reflect on what they are most proud of about themselves and provide an opportunity for them to share their thoughts. In doing so, students are empowered to internalize the value of self-respect. Team-building activities that emphasize cooperation, collaboration, and communication are excellent for instilling the essence of the second rule, respect each other. The teacher should choose activities that promote inclusivity, encouraging every student to participate regardless of their skill level or physical abilities. These activities should encompass a range of group challenges that encourage collaboration and problem-solving among students. Following each activity, students should be provided with an opportunity to acknowledge a peer and celebrate collective achievements. Examples such as shout-outs and reflective discussions about the impact of respectful behavior effectively promote unity and inclusion, encouraging students to show respect to their peers. For the third rule, respect our environment, teachers should select activities that promote a sense of responsibility for the shared space and encourage behaviors that contribute to its cleanliness and organization. Emphasizing the importance of students respecting their environment contributes to a positive and inclusive atmosphere. Through explicit communication of expectations, modeling of desired behaviors, and integrating engaging activities, students learn that how they treat their space and equipment directly impacts the quality of the learning environment for everyone. This creates a culture where students not only appreciate the significance of a tidy space, but also actively contribute to its maintenance. Teachers should also utilize visual aids to maintain the relevance of these rules throughout the school year. Posters displaying the 3 rules in an engaging format can help students remember that respect is an ongoing expectation. In addition to visual aids, consistent reinforcement during every lesson is vital. This includes frequent reminders, positive reinforcement, and prompt intervention to address any disrespectful behavior, all of which are essential for establishing and preserving a respectful environment in the gym. Communicating expectations for student behavior and transitions. In a typical physical education lesson, students transition often from one location or activity to another, making the efficiency of these transitions and students' behavior during them of primary importance. Clear communication and effective execution of transitions significantly enhances valuable instructional and activity time, ensuring that students can fully engage in the entirety of the lesson. Consistent practice of transitions early in the school year, coupled with holding students accountable through repetitions and, when necessary, class resets, is essential. Failing to hold students accountable to adhering to transition expectations, such as safely and efficiently moving from home base spots to getting equipment, sends the unintended message that behavior that does not meet high standards will be accepted. Efficient transitions rely heavily on clearly communicated expectations. Here are several instances within a typical lesson where this is particularly important. Students' arrival to the gym, entering and exiting locker rooms, beginning introductory activities, transitioning to assigned home base spots, obtaining and returning equipment, taking water breaks, departure from the gym. Let's explore in more detail the planning required to ensure smooth transitions, focusing on an entry routine as an example. Footnote: the strategies outlined in this detailed explanation of an entry routine can be adapted for use in other transitions in a lesson. Entry routine: a meticulously planned procedure for students entering the gym at the beginning of class sets the tone for the entire lesson. It serves as the initial opportunity for teachers to establish clear behavioral expectations and create a positive learning environment. A structured entry routine promotes a sense of order and discipline, while also demonstrating the expectations for efficient transitions that should occur throughout the entire lesson. By clearly communicating expectations right from the start, teachers convey the significance of adherence to rules and routines. As a result, a carefully designed entry routine emerges as a fundamental component of successful classroom management, ensuring that students are primed for success and ready to engage in the learning and activities of the day. There are many ways to facilitate students' entry into the gym, and it is essential that teachers carefully consider a suitable structure for their preferred entry routine. One non-negotiable is that teachers must always greet students at the door. This critical step presents a golden opportunity to warmly welcome students, offer an enthusiastic preview of the lesson, and clearly communicate the expectations for entering the gym. Recognizing the importance of igniting students' enthusiasm for what lies ahead, it is essential that teachers convey excitement for the upcoming lesson. This amplified enthusiasm stimulates a genuine eagerness in students for physical activity and PE class as a whole. When students enter the gym with anticipation for the planned activities and learning, they are more likely to actively engage in the lesson and are less inclined to display off-task behavior that could disrupt the learning environment. Alongside an enthusiastic lesson preview, there are 2 additional components to convey when greeting students at the door, both closely connected. First, highlight that there are multiple planned activities for the day, and then emphasize the need for a sense of urgency to complete them all. Some educators refer to this as leveling, where the various activities are presented in stages, culminating in the most exciting one. To effectively enhance the entry routine and engage students in the entire lesson, it's crucial to emphasize the importance of on-task behavior and meeting expectations in order to progress to the next level. Here's an example of what it could sound like to communicate this to students. Teacher: hello everyone, I'm so excited to see you today. I have 3 really fun activities set up in the gym, and I can't wait for you to try them all out. The last class said the 3rd activity was their favorite, and I totally agree with them. It's my favorite too. In order for us to be able to participate in all 3, we're going to need to move quickly and follow directions the first time they are given. After generating excitement about the lesson, teachers should clearly state the expectations for student behavior upon entering the gym. The ultimate goal is to one day be able to confidently say, "You know how we enter the gym, I'll see you in there." However, before achieving this ideal state, it is essential to break down the entry procedure into manageable steps, clearly communicating expectations, ensuring students understand them, and gradually allowing students into the gym, perhaps with opportunities for peer accountability. The entry expectations should be concise and clearly communicated, with a focus on 3 to 5 key points. It is important for teachers to plan and script what they want to communicate to students, ensuring that the language used for the entry routine expectations remains consistent throughout subsequent transitions over the course of the lesson. Knowing that the specific expectations that are communicated will depend on the grade level and environment, let's continue with the script we started earlier, which is most appropriate for classes where students begin the lesson in the gym and in home base rows. Teacher: show me that you can follow directions so that we can get to that exciting 3rd activity today. When I say go, we are going to walk into the gym, sit on our home base spots, and face forward, all at a voice level 0. Who can raise their hand and repeat the 4 expectations for entering the gym? The teacher calls on different students until each of the expectations are repeated. Who thinks they can show the class what this looks like? The teacher calls on 2 students, or 1 home base row, to model the entry procedure for the class while positively narrating their behaviors. I noticed that student's name walked into the gym. I notice student's name sitting in their spot. Thank you, student's name, for facing forward and being at a voice level 0. When I say go, we can all enter the gym just like they did. Go. I see students' names are walking. Thank you, students' names, for sitting in their spots. Footnote: to further encourage student ownership and engagement, consider inviting a student to take on the role of narrating the on-task behaviors of their peers. This example is useful for teachers who prefer that class begin with students in their home base rows, prepared for the next set of instructions, whether that be exercises in their spots, a warm-up activity, or communication of lesson objectives. It's important to note that there are many ways to begin a PE class. For instance, students may change clothes in a locker room before entering the gym or gathering on a field. Once a vision has been created for what the entry procedure is to look like based on your unique circumstances, and 3 to 5 expectations you wish to establish at the beginning of class have been identified, the provided script can be modified to suit your specific needs. Another common way to enter the gym is to have students engage in an instant activity. Instant activities are characterized by having only a few rules that students quickly gain familiarity with, and that will give students the opportunity to move immediately upon entering the gym. Some classes may respond better to entering the gym and sitting in their spots, while others may benefit from moving and releasing energy right away. Let's modify the previous example to articulate expectations for an entry routine that incorporates an instant activity. Footnote: this is primarily an elementary example, although middle school students excitedly engage with variations of tag games as well. For high school students, consider replacing tag games with dynamic movements like high knees, glute kicks, side shuffles, mountain climbers, walking lunges, etc. The language in the script will also need to be adjusted to accommodate the needs of secondary students. Teacher: show me that you can follow directions so that we can get to that 3rd activity. Today's instant activity is going to be everybody's it knee tag. What are our 3 rules for knee tag? The teacher calls on students to share out. Right, so we are staying inside the black lines, respecting personal space by not bumping into each other or falling down, tagging gently on the outside of the knee with our fingers, and then finding a new partner after one of us gets tagged. When I say go, the red home base row can enter the gym and begin playing. Go. I notice the red row is staying inside the boundaries of the black line. Green team, you can enter. I notice the green team is respecting personal space by not bumping into anyone as they play. Yellow team, show me how you enter the game and tag gently on the outside of your partner's knee with 2 fingers. With students either seated in their home base spots or already engaged in an instant activity, the focus can now turn to an essential aspect of physical education classes, practicing start and stop signals. Providing opportunities for students to practice these signals throughout the lesson is crucial for their understanding and consistent adherence to them. The warm-up or instant activity serves as the first instance where students have opportunities to practice starting and stopping on the teacher's signals. While this initial activity should be enjoyable, engaging, and encourage movement, it must also reinforce the important behavior expectations. Regardless of the chosen warm-up, the goal is to seamlessly integrate these opportunities into the activity. To reinforce behavior expectations during the warm-up, teachers should include starts and stops that aren't usually part of the activity. For instance, if the designated warm-up duration is 5 minutes, breaking it into several brief bursts of activity lasting 20 to 30 seconds each offers numerous chances for students to practice starts and stops, ensuring their understanding and proficiency before proceeding with the lesson. Having previously captured students' interest in the exciting levels of planned activities, teachers can now capitalize on their enthusiasm by integrating a specific number of start and stop sequences into the warm-up before transitioning to the next activity. This turns the warm-up into a challenge where students must meet a goal before progressing to the next level of activity. This method is particularly effective when students are highly motivated to engage in the activities of the day. Once applied, teachers will find it to be a valuable strategy for reinforcing expectations for start and stop signals, and these early repetitions will positively influence student behavior throughout the entire lesson. Let's consider a basic warm-up activity offering elementary students a selection of locomotor movements and secondary students various dynamic movements to perform throughout general space. The following example is tailored for elementary teachers, and as a result, language adjustments would be necessary for secondary physical educators. Teacher, when I say go, you can gallop or skip anywhere you like in general space without bumping into each other. Who can remind me what we do when the music stops? Students, freeze, hands on knees, eyes on the teacher, voice level 0. Teacher, that's right. Teacher, that's right. When the music stops, I need you to freeze on your feet, put your hands on your knees, and have your eyes on me, all at a voice level 0. Once we do 5 perfect freezes, I will know that we are ready to move on to our next activity. Gallop or skip, go. After approximately 20 seconds, stop the music, or use an alternative stop signal like a whistle or calling out freeze, and visually assess to see if students followed the communicated expectations. If they did, proceed by providing 2 more locomotor or dynamic movements to choose from, confirming that the round counts towards their goal of 5 in a row. If they did, proceed by providing 2 more locomotor or dynamic movements to choose from, confirming that the round counts toward their goal of 5 in a row, and repeat the process. If students were not at a voice level 0 after the stop signal or weren't frozen on their feet as expected, explain why that round doesn't count, reiterate the expectations for the class, and have them repeat that round of the warm-up. One might say, unfortunately, that round didn't count because not everyone froze on their feet. Let's try skipping or galloping again. I'm confident that we'll get it this time. Go. Footnote: by using phrases like unfortunately, followed by I know you can do it, teachers convey to their students that while they may be temporarily disappointed, they also believe in students' capacity to improve despite setbacks. During this process, it is crucial to maintain a positive attitude and reassure students that success is achievable and expected, even if they are facing some challenges on this particular day. Teachers should continue on with the leveled warm-up activity, understanding that improving a skill requires clear instructions, ample practice opportunities, and holding students accountable if they happen to fall short. Some days can be especially challenging and may require additional strategies to get students on track following expectations, which can be frustrating for both teachers and students. During these particularly taxing moments, putting the lesson plan aside and implementing a class reset will provide teachers with the confidence needed to guide students through these adversities. Class reset. Moments may arise during the school year when a whole class reset is deemed necessary. This could be due to the realization that earlier in the year, expectations for behavior and transitions were not explicitly communicated or applied, resulting in situations not aligning with the intended classroom expectations. Alternatively, teachers may have a class or two that present challenges that require additional practice with routines and rituals to maximize future instructional time. Regardless of how one arrived at this point, being prepared with a class reset plan is an essential tool that all distinguished physical educators must have at their disposal. A class reset should be implemented when there is a significant deviation from the established classroom behavior standards, or when disruptive behavior impacts the learning environment and instructional time. Employing a class reset allows the teacher to pause the current activity, reinforce behavioral expectations by providing additional practice or instruction as needed, and create an environment conducive for learning and activity to resume. Resetting the class might become necessary when, during transitions, activities, or instruction, behaviors consistently deviate from the established expectations. Students struggle to follow directions despite reminders and prompts from the teacher, leading to a loss of instructional time. Disruptive behavior has a negative impact on the learning experience for students. Regaining control of students' behavior and refocusing their attention on the lesson has been a consistent challenge. To execute a successful class reset, it's imperative to break down transitions into multiple levels, providing various checkpoints to return to if needed. Having only one or two levels to revert back to can limit the effectiveness of the reset process. If students don't meet the expectations of the first level of reset, teachers will need to progress to the next step in the sequence. Establishing these multiple stages ensures a structured approach to addressing the various situations when students may not be adhering to expectations. Detailed here is a step-by-step breakdown of the levels available for implementing a class reset, beginning with the least disruptive and advancing to more severe measures. Level 1. Practicing start and stop signals in general space. Scenario. Disruptive behaviors during a transition, activity, or instruction are resulting in a loss of instructional time. As a result, the teacher has decided to momentarily halt the lesson and provide students with an opportunity to practice meeting expectations. Teacher. Unfortunately, I noticed that some of us were not at a voice level 0 while I was explaining the rules to our next activity. That means we need to practice following our class expectations. When I say go, we're going to stand up and insert a locomotor movement or dynamic movement throughout general space. When I blow the whistle, we will immediately freeze, be at a voice level 0, and your eyes will be tracking me. If we can do it perfectly 3 times in a row, then we will get back to the rules for our next activity and be ready to play the exciting game I have for you today. I know you can do it. What will we do when the music stops? Students. Freeze, voice level 0, eyes on the teacher. Teacher. Okay. Locomotor movement or dynamic movement. Go. Once students consistently demonstrate the ability to follow directions, the lesson can resume at the moment where the disruption happened. This level 1 strategy stands as an effective method for use when disruptions occur and can be utilized again later in the lesson if a similar situation arises. However, if students continue to struggle meeting expectations, like failing to freeze at a voice level 0 in response to a signal, disregarding personal space, or not respecting the boundaries of the designated area, and a more severe intervention is deemed necessary, then it's time to progress to level 2 of the reset process, bringing students back to their home base spots. Level 2, returning to home base spots. Scenario. Despite engaging students in the level 1 general space reset, the desired results have not been achieved, even after multiple attempts at starting and stopping on the teacher's signals. Teacher. Unfortunately, I noticed that some students continue to move after the music stopped. When I call your color row, I want to see everyone in that row walk to their home base spot and sit at a voice level 0. Who can show the class what that looks like? Who would like to narrate their actions? The teacher calls on one student to model for the class and another to narrate their peers' behavior. Teacher, thank you for walking to your spot and sitting at a voice level 0. Blue row, please walk to your spot and sit at a voice level 0. The teacher continues to gradually release students by home base rows to go back to their spots while narrating positive behavior. Teacher, I notice student's name is at a voice level 0. I see student's name sitting in their spot. Thank you, student's name, for being at a voice level 0. Once students are back in their assigned home base spots, the teacher should reiterate the expectations and engage students by prompting them to confirm their understanding with questions like, who can tell the class what we are expected to do when the music stops? What voice level should we be at when we are frozen in general space? Where should our eyes be? If students are following the expectations and the teacher has everyone's attention, the lesson can be resumed from where it was paused earlier. However, if interruptions persist, either with students still in their home base rows or after the lesson has resumed, teachers should proceed to level 3 of the reset procedure. Level 3, hallway reset. Scenario: despite efforts to maintain order within the designated home base spots, disruptive behaviors persist, prompting a reset that extends beyond the confines of the gym space. Teacher, unfortunately, we haven't yet been able to follow the class expectations, either in general space or in our home base spots. I know you'll be able to do it, but we're going to need more practice. When I call your home base row color, please walk to the door and form 2 lines, all while being at a voice level 0. The teacher calls one row at a time, positively narrating specific desired behaviors, and meets students at the gym door. Initiating a complete reset by bringing students back out into the hallway should be considered a significant measure that is rarely required. Nonetheless, it's valuable to have this option available should the need arise to redirect students away from the large space of the gym and to the hallway where class began. Once in the hallway, ensure students form 2 quiet lines, reiterate the expectations clearly, and again, confirm their understanding by asking questions related to the desired behaviors. Remind students of the activities that were planned for them and how disappointing it will be if they don't get to participate in each of them. Then, gradually release students back to their home base spots 1 row at a time. This reset process should mirror the initial entry procedure at the beginning of class. The ability to execute a class reset is a vital skill that educators must possess to reinstate an orderly and safe learning environment. This structured approach, with its multiple levels, offers interventions ranging from minor disruptions to the lesson to more comprehensive resets, ensuring the restoration of expected behavior and the protection of valuable instructional and activity time. These strategies, beginning with practicing start and stop signals and progressing to the return to home base spots or, when necessary, an extensive hallway reset, are invaluable tools for teachers to have when needing to realign student conduct with the expected behavior standards. Ultimately, implementing a class reset underscores the importance of upholding behavioral expectations for a safe and welcoming learning environment, benefiting both teachers and students alike. Managing extreme student behavior. The class reset procedure detailed in the previous section is designed to address mild to moderately disruptive behaviors that fall within the reasonable expectations of a teacher to manage. Regrettably, there may be instances where the behavior of one or more students escalates to an extreme level, compromising the safety of the other students. Effectively managing students who are displaying violent behavior toward others demands a thoughtful and careful approach to protect the well-being of all students and maintain a safe learning environment. This section will outline a recommended course of action for a teacher confronted with such a situation. Ensuring the safety of all students is unequivocally the top priority for any teacher encountering a situation where the physical safety of students is being jeopardized. If violent behavior is occurring, immediate intervention is necessary to prevent further harm. This may entail physically separating the student from others or seeking assistance from nearby staff members, such as a paraprofessional if available. Footnote: consult your district policy for approved methods of physically separating students who are in an altercation. Communicate to students that the violent behavior is unacceptable, emphasizing the impact this behavior has on their peers and the consequences for such actions. Once the student is separated from their peers, direct the rest of the class to the hallway, where they should be instructed to form a line against the wall and maintain a voice level 0. Footnote: if class is taking place outdoors, teachers should plan to have a safe location for students to wait. This could look like lining up along a fence or returning to outdoor home base spots. With the class relocated to the hallway and the student responsible for the disruption no longer posing a threat to their peers, promptly communicate the situation to building leaders and request support. If any students require medical attention, be sure to communicate that immediately. When seeking support from building leaders in such situations, it is crucial to maintain a calm, composed, and matter-of-fact demeanor. Responding with anger or frustration may convey a lack of control and could potentially escalate the situation. Lastly, to uphold the privacy of all involved students, avoid mentioning any names during the phone or radio communications. This request for support could sound like this. This is teacher name in the gym. Unfortunately, we have a student displaying violent behavior toward others. Our students are safely in line in the hallway, but it is unsafe to bring them back into the gym and resume class until we receive support from a building leader. Sending a clear and concise message alerts building leaders of the situation and communicates to them that instruction will not resume until all students are safe and support is provided. While awaiting assistance, teachers should position themselves with their back to the gym doors, preventing students from entering, and reminding students in line to remain at a voice level 0 and a straight line along the wall. Teachers should assure students that normal activities will resume once safety is ensured and stay in the hallway with them until support arrives. When support arrives, express gratitude to the building leader for their assistance and commit to providing additional details on the incident at your earliest convenience. Footnote: in the event that support does not arrive in a timely manner, the teacher's primary objective remains unchanged: ensuring the safety of all students, maintaining composure and control, and refraining from resuming the class until it can be guaranteed that the environment is safe for everyone. This plan outlines the immediate actions to take during a violent behavior incident, yet a teacher's responsibility extends beyond just this moment. After the class concludes, it is imperative to document the incident thoroughly, recording the date, time, and a detailed description of what occurred. Comprehensive documentation plays a vital role when discussing the situation with building leaders, parents, and other involved parties. Include the names of any students who might have been negatively affected, whether that be physically or emotionally, ensuring they receive the support they deserve. Meticulously documenting these incidents serves another critical purpose: facilitating reflection of the events and the formulation of a strategic plan for the future. As the teacher, it is essential to assess whether any elements of the classroom environment may have influenced the offending student's behavior, and reflecting on whether adjustments are needed in activities or routines is vital. Considerations should encompass aspects of the learning environment, such as beginning class with a more structured entry routine, adjusting students' positions in home base spots, or analyzing activities for factors that could contribute to disruptive student behavior, such as prolonged wait times, large group sizes, or engaging in competitive activities without an emphasis on social skills. To prevent the reoccurrence of such incidents, it is crucial to collaborate with building leaders, behavior specialists, and parents, crafting and implementing a behavior management plan that caters to the unique needs of the students involved. Teachers must maintain a reflective and solutions-oriented approach, particularly in these types of extreme situations. Bringing potential solutions to the discussion showcases a teacher's willingness to contribute to the resolution and underscores their commitment to ensuring a positive experience for all students in physical education. Lastly, periodically review the effectiveness of the plan with all stakeholders and be prepared to adjust strategies as needed to address the student's progress and account for any new developments. Addressing extreme or violent student behavior is a challenging but sometimes necessary aspect of a teacher's role in maintaining a safe and welcoming learning environment for all students. The previously outlined course of action prioritizes the immediate safety of all students with clear steps for intervention, communication, and documentation. A solutions-oriented approach, periodic plan reviews, and flexibility in adjusting strategies are key elements in ensuring ongoing progress and an inclusive educational experience for all students in physical education. Peer accountability. Encouraging students to hold each other accountable to behavior expectations yields numerous benefits and can be utilized during any transition in a lesson, including during class resets. When students enforce high standards among themselves, they take an active role in ensuring their peers meet behavioral expectations. Providing students with opportunities to positively influence their peers promotes a shared responsibility for sustaining an optimal learning environment. This sense of ownership empowers students to contribute to a positive class culture and to recognize the impact of their actions on the collective learning experience. Beyond reinforcing behavioral norms, this practice teaches essential communication and social skills. Learning how to positively influence group dynamics promotes the development of strong interpersonal relationships, which can aid students in various real-world situations. By encouraging peer accountability, students not only develop a sense of responsibility, but also collaboratively contribute to a positive learning environment. This proactive approach minimizes the need for frequent teacher intervention, allowing educators to devote more time and energy to instruction and activities, creating a more efficient and orderly learning environment. The process of peer monitoring and peer feedback involves assigning students the responsibility to observe and acknowledge behaviors exhibited by their peers, offering feedback or recognition for adhering to classroom expectations. It encourages students to provide constructive input to their classmates regarding their behavior, whether it occurs during group activities, discussions, or transitions. This strategy empowers students to collaboratively engage in supporting and reinforcing positive behavior among their peers. Let's consider an example of implementing peer monitoring and feedback during a standard transition, such as retrieving equipment in the gym while students are organized in their designated home base rows. The objective has been communicated and it's time to begin the first activity, but perhaps there are concerns about the efficiency of this upcoming transition. To ensure a smoother process, the additional safeguard of a peer accountability structure can be introduced. Teachers should begin by explicitly communicating the expectations for the transition. Teacher, when I call you to get your badminton racket, you have 15 seconds to walk to the cart, pick up a racket, and then sit down on a court at a voice level 0. Now that students have a clear understanding of the expectations, let's initiate a gradual release process while simultaneously creating opportunities for peer monitoring and feedback. Teacher, when I say go, the blue row is going to get their rackets while the other teams observe them and provide feedback on whether or not they followed the 4 expectations. If we get a thumbs up from the other rows, the blue team can stay and I'll call the next row. If we get any thumbs down, the blue team will have to come back and another row can show us how to get their rackets. Blue team, you have 15 seconds to walk to get a racket and sit on a court at a voice level 0. Go. After completion of the transition by the initial group, prompt the students who remained in their designated home base rows to express their opinion with a thumbs up or thumbs down gesture. If the initial group receives approval, they can stay in their positions and the process repeats with the remaining rows. However, if students indicate a thumbs down, ask for justification on why the group should be called back. If the justification is valid, call the first group back to their home base row and ask a row containing a student who vetoed the transition to model the expectation for the group. It is likely that you will observe that students hold their peers to strict standards, and if the first group is recalled, the second group often exhibits the transition appropriately, highlighting the effectiveness of peer accountability in upholding expectations. In this chapter, we explored the importance of establishing class rules, communicating high expectations for student behavior, and navigating transitions effectively. By articulating class rules that emphasize respect for self, others, and the physical education environment, teachers can create the foundation for an effective learning environment. The implementation of class resets, designed with various levels to realign behavior, safeguards instructional integrity, and reinforces desired student behavior, while integration of peer accountability structures further enhances the likelihood of on-task behavior by instilling shared responsibility among students, teaching social skills, and minimizing the need for constant teacher intervention. Ultimately, these strategies intertwine to ensure a positive and inclusive learning environment where behavior expectations are upheld and students' time spent engaged in activities is maximized. Chapter Summary: Class Rules. Class rules such as respect yourself, respect each other, and respect our environment provide a broad yet comprehensive framework for behavior expectations. Embedding these rules into the class culture should include interactive discussions and activities that allow students to understand and internalize the meaning of respect in various contexts. Visual aid and consistent reinforcement help keep the rules relevant throughout the school year, ensuring a respectful learning environment. Expectations for student behavior and transitions. Clear communication of expectations, checking for students' understanding of them, and modeling desired behaviors are crucial elements for ensuring both on-task student behavior and efficient transitions. Entry routine. Establishing a structured entry routine sets the tone for behavior expectations. This routine includes an enthusiastic greeting, communication of entry procedure expectations, and instant activities that reinforce start and stop signals. Class reset. Implementing a class reset involves multi-level strategies, starting with practicing start and stop signals in general space, progressing to returning to designated home base spots, and if needed, extending to a hallway reset. These structured resets aim to align student behavior with class expectations, ensuring a safe and welcoming environment that is conducive to learning. Managing extreme student behavior. If extreme behavior interrupts a lesson, teachers must be prepared with a plan that prioritizes the safety of all students. The incident should be thoroughly documented, and teachers should collaborate with stakeholders to develop and implement a behavior management plan in order to minimize the likelihood of reoccurrences. Peer accountability. Encouraging students to actively enforce expectations among their peers during various transitions in a lesson not only promotes a shared responsibility for maintaining an optimal learning environment, but also develops essential communication and social skills, contributing to a positive classroom culture. Reflective questions. How can you creatively embed and reinforce the 3 core rules of respect, respecting oneself, others, and the environment, within your lessons to ensure students internalize and actively practice these values throughout the school year? What are your expectations for students' behavior during transitions? How will you communicate those expectations and hold students accountable to them? What strategies might you use to enhance the efficiency of transitions throughout class? How can you leverage the entry routine strategies, such as an enthusiastic welcome, clear communication of expectations, and integrating start and stop practice opportunities within activities, to ensure efficient transitions and consistent adherence to expectations throughout your lessons? How might employing structured resets help in realigning student behavior with class expectations and preserving valuable instructional time within your physical education lessons? What will the various levels of resets look like in your space?